End of greed, dawn of freedom. Welcome to today's episode. The world is changing, and so must we. The old systems built on greed and inequality are crumbling, and a new era is within reach. It's time to question, to challenge, and to build something better. Let's dive in. The world we inhabit today is a curious place. It is a world of abundance, and yet, paradoxically, a world of deprivation. It is a world where technology has reached heights once thought impossible. Yet millions toil in misery, struggling to afford the basic necessities of life. The truth is, we have long been sold a lie that claims progress and prosperity are the natural byproducts of capitalism, that free markets will inevitably lift all boats, that patience will yield a better tomorrow. But tomorrow never comes, and the cracks in this fragile facade are beginning to widen. For centuries, humankind has been trapped in a cycle of exploitation, where a select few amass unimaginable wealth while the masses fight over the scraps. We call this capitalism, but in truth, it is nothing more than an updated version of feudalism, a system that shackles the many to enrich the few. The factory replaces the manor. The stock exchange takes the place of the royal court, but the essence remains unchanged. The worker, much like the peasant of old, labors under the illusion of freedom, while his labor is stolen, repackaged, and sold for the benefit of his master. The slow collapse of capitalism. Capitalism is not eternal. No empire, no ideology, no system has ever lasted indefinitely. It thrives on perpetual expansion, on endless growth, but we live on a planet with finite resources. The engine of capitalism demands more consumption, more labor, more profit. But there is a limit to what can be taken. The environment has begun to revolt against our relentless greed. The people, weary and disillusioned, are beginning to stir. Economic crises, once seen as periodic aberrations, are now near constant. Wages stagnate while corporate profits soar, billionaires multiply while the poor starve. The system is in its death throes, though many refuse to see it. We must ask ourselves, when will we say enough? When will we refuse to be mere cogs in this soulless machine? When will we, as a people, turn away from this exploitative system and forge something new, something built not on greed, but on cooperation, fairness, and true freedom? The myth of scarcity. One of capitalism's greatest tricks has been to convince us that scarcity is an immutable truth. We are told that resources are limited, that competition is necessary, that poverty is an unfortunate but unavoidable reality. Yet, this is a deliberate deception. The world today produces more than enough food to feed every human being, yet millions go hungry. There is more than enough wealth to ensure every person has shelter, education, and healthcare. Yet these are luxuries available only to the privileged few. Scarcity, in most cases, is manufactured. It is the result of hoarding, of market manipulation, of policies designed to maintain inequality rather than eliminate it. If wealth were distributed based on need rather than profit, poverty would be eradicated overnight. If production were guided by necessity rather than corporate greed, the world would be a vastly different place. But such a transformation requires a shift in our collective consciousness. We must reject the notion that we must fight each other to survive. We must embrace the truth that cooperation, not competition, is the key to human flourishing. The future is ours to build. A new world is possible. The question is not whether capitalism will fall. It is already unraveling before our eyes. The question is what will replace it. The wealthy and the powerful will fight to maintain their grip on the world, using every tool at their disposal, media, law, force, to crush any attempt at systemic change. They will tell us that alternatives are impossible, that the only way forward is through continued exploitation. But history tells us otherwise. The feudal lords of old never imagined a world without kings, yet monarchy fell. The slave owners of the past never believed their system would collapse, yet slavery was abolished. The tyrants of the 20th century believed their rule would last 1,000 years, yet they were overthrown. Capitalism, too, will meet its end, not by accident, but by the will of the people. We must begin now. We must build communities based on solidarity rather than profit. We must reclaim our labor, our land, and our lives. We must create systems of mutual aid, cooperatives that empower workers, technologies that serve humanity rather than corporate interests. It will not be easy. The path ahead is filled with challenges, with setbacks, with resistance. But nothing worth building has ever come without struggle. The road ahead, this transformation, is not something that will happen overnight, nor is it something that will be handed to us. It must be fought for. It must be built by those who dare to dream of something beyond what they have been told is possible. It begins in the workplaces, in the streets, in the hearts and minds of those who refuse to accept a world where suffering is normalized. Workers must organize, not simply to demand better conditions within this broken system, but to dismantle it entirely. Mutual aid networks must grow, allowing people to meet their needs outside of exploitative economic structures. Communities must take control of the means of production, reclaiming power from the hands of the few and redistributing it among the many. Technology must be wielded for the public good, not for corporate profit. The world we build will not be without struggle, but every great change has been won through persistence and defiance. Those in power will resist, for they know that their days are numbered. They will attempt to convince us that we are powerless, that we are too small to challenge the machine they have constructed. But history is on our side. We must dare to dream. We must dare to act. We must dare to build a future that is not dictated by profit margins, but by human dignity. The choice before us is stark: continue on the path of destruction, or carve a new way forward. A new world is not just possible, it is necessary. And together, we will create it.